Mckinney, and today's recipe is a delicious baked coconut shrimp with an orange marmalade dipping sauce that is just out of this world, fantastic. I know you're gonna love this one. This is great as an appetizer, or you can make it as a main dish. I actually used to work at a restaurant where they had coconut shrimp, and it was a really nice seafood restaurant, and the coconut shrimp was so good, and so that was kind of how this recipe came about. I wanted to recreate it. The only difference is it was fried at the restaurant I worked at, and then this is going to be baked. So it's a lot healthier, but it tastes just as good and less mess because we're not having to go through all the frying stuff. We just got to pop it in the oven and it comes out golden and crispy and delicious. So, of course, I'm starting out with shrimp for this recipe, and I've got a half a pound. I'm going to do a half recipe of this. You could probably do a half recipe if you're just doing it as an appetizer for a few people, but if you're doing it as a main dish for 4 people, you'll want to use a whole pound of shrimp. So I've got my half pound of shrimp here. I'm also going to add some flavors to this before I start coating it with our coconut and all that good stuff. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, which will give it some great flavor. And I like to do this before I coat it. That way I know that the shrimp is going to have good flavor all the way through the coating into the actual skin of the shrimp. I'm also going to put in a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika and 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just lightly mix this around. I have actually taken the shells off of these, but I've left the tails on them. It makes for a lot prettier presentation, and it's also easier when you start dipping the shrimp in the coatings. Easier when you have that little tail to grab onto. Okay, these look nice and coated with the seasoning, so now let's start the dredging process. Alright, so here we go. Just be prepared. Your hands are going to get a little dirty. It's okay. We can wash them. But really the easiest way to do this is with your hands. So I just take one of my shrimp here. I'm going to put it in some all-purpose flour. And then I'll go into my egg, which is just 1 egg that I've beaten up. Just want to make sure it gets nice and coated in the egg. All sides there. And now I'll put it in my coconut. This is unsweetened flaked coconut. I like to use the unsweetened just because it cuts down on the sugar in this recipe, and I think the regular coconut, once it toasts up, is really sweet enough. But if you want it to have that extra sweetness, by all means you can use the sweetened coconut. I have used it before. It's wonderful both ways. Now I'm going to put this on my sheet pan. I've just sprayed it with cooking spray. So I just keep on doing this down the little assembly line here. Want to get each of them coated really well. Make sure you sort of press the coconut in to each shrimp so it's totally coated on all sides. Alright, so I will keep doing this. I'm going to pop these in the oven at 425 for 15 minutes, and then I will show you how to make the really simple orange marmalade dipping sauce. Alright y'all, so while my shrimp's in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and show you the orange marmalade dipping sauce, which really just takes this recipe over the top. It's so good, it's sweet, it's got a little spiciness, and it just goes perfectly with the coconut shrimp. So what you're going to start out with is, of course, some orange marmalade, since this is an orange marmalade dipping sauce. And I'm going to do about 1/4 cup right into my little bowl here. And some horseradish. Now, this is not something that I would usually use. I'm not a huge horseradish person. My husband really likes it, but in this dipping sauce, I don't know, just something about it. It just works and it's really good. So even if you don't like horseradish, you might like it in this, so give it a try. But if you really just can't stand it, you could use some hot sauce or something else to make it, give it a little kick. This is just a teaspoonful, so we're not using a whole lot. Now some rice vinegar. You could use apple cider vinegar, but I like the lightness of this rice vinegar, so I'm using it. A tablespoon of that is going to go in. And also, just to give it a little more tang, I'm going to do a tablespoon of Dijon Mustard. Started coming out a little too soon. Got a little messy there. Okay. And then a pinch of salt and a pinch of fresh ground black pepper. Alright, so just stir this around and it will all come together. And it's sweet because of the orange marmalade, but it's also tangy, it's a little spicy, so it really, everything kind of evens it out and it just comes together, and I'm telling you, it is so good with this coconut shrimp. Hopefully they're about done, and so I'll take them out and show you what they look like. Okay guys, my shrimp has finished baking, and how fantastic does that look? The shrimp has, it's cooked all the way through, and the coconut has toasted on the outside of the shrimp. So not only does it look really nice, but it smells so good. I cannot wait to eat this. This is seriously gonna be lunch for me, and I am excited. So I like to just put this on a cute little serving platter. Y'all, I think this is going to be perfect for your next get together. Serve this, have it out like this for an appetizer. People will love it. But seriously, you may want to double the recipe because people love it a little too much sometimes. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also like my Facebook page, Cooking with April Mckinney. See you guys soon.